Welcome back to the Exponential Era. In our very first video, Carl Jung and the Architecture of Inner Transformation, we descended with Jung into the Black Books and Liber Novus. We watched a man of extraordinary external success confront the living, active unconscious, not as dead storage, but as an ecosystem that demanded dialogue. That inward mapping, forged between 1913 and the early 1920s, gave us the first modern blueprint for individuation amid crisis. Today, in April 2026, we step outward from that same inner frontier. Because the mirror Jung once held up to the psyche has become something far more powerful, it has become an amplifier, and the societies that master or are mastered by this new force will write the next chapter of history. In every era, societies develop tools that extend their reach, but at certain moments, tools do more than extend capacity. They alter the structure of experience itself. We are entering such a moment. The technologies now emerging do not simply improve efficiency. They reorganize perception, decision-making, and identity. We continue to interpret these changes through a linear lens. We expect gradual effects, stable cause and effect. But these systems scale, interact, and compound. They generate second-order consequences, often geopolitical, before they are understood psychologically. What changes in this phase is not reflection, but amplification. AI does not merely reproduce thought. It intensifies it, selectively, unevenly, and at scale. The result is not balance, it is divergence. History rarely moves in straight lines. It moves in long arcs where new instruments of power first fracture old orders, then force entirely new equilibria. The printing press did not merely distribute Bibles. It fractured the medieval church's monopoly on interpretation, ignited the Reformation, and redrew the map of Europe through religious war and the birth of the modern state. The steam engine and the factory system did not merely speed production. They uprooted agrarian life, created the industrial proletariat, and set in motion the great power contests of the 19th and 20th centuries. We stand in April 2026 at the threshold of the next such inflection. AI is the new printing press, the new steam engine, only faster, more recursive, and operating directly on the architecture of the mind itself. To analyze this, consider 5 domains that are converging before our eyes: intelligence systems, networked social reality, biological engineering, power and geopolitical structure, and complex adaptive systems. Each evolves along its own trajectory, but their significance lies in convergence, where technical change intersects with institutions and power. Take intelligent systems. A mirror reproduces, an amplifier transforms. It takes an input and increases its intensity. In early stages, AI appeared to reflect human capability. Now it extends and scales it. A well-formed idea becomes sharper. A weak structure becomes more persuasive. The system does not correct, it amplifies. At the individual level, amplification produces variance. Strong thinkers gain leverage. They iterate faster, refine arguments, extend reasoning. But instability also scales. Confusion becomes more elaborate. Bias becomes more convincing. AI does not equalize intelligence. It widens the gap between it. Now layer on networked social reality. Amplification reshapes attention. Information moves faster than verification. Narratives scale before they are tested. Signal and noise both expand and compete under accelerated conditions. The result is not clarity. It is intensified competition for attention. In such environments, influence becomes nonlinear. Recall how the printing press turned pamphlets into weapons that toppled kings. Today, in April 2026, algorithmic amplification turns a single post into a global cascade within hours, reshaping elections, markets, and street protests before fact-checkers can even load the page. Biological engineering adds another dimension. The same tools that amplify thought are now rewriting the code of life itself. CRISPR guided by large language models, synthetic biology accelerated by design software that dreams in protein folds. What began as medical assistance is becoming the industrial scaling of human capability. The printing press democratized knowledge. The AI biology convergence threatens to democratize and stratify evolution. power, and geopolitical structure reveal the strategic stakes most clearly. AI is not merely a tool, it is infrastructure. States and firms that control computation, data, and model development gain disproportionate advantage. This is visible in the sharpening contest between the United States and China, now entering its second decade. The contest is not only economic, it is structural. Whoever shapes the systems of amplification shapes the distribution of power. In April 2026, we see the consequences daily. Export controls on advanced chips, subsidies for domestic foundries, alliances forged around data sovereignty. Finally, complex, adaptive systems. Acceleration is uneven. Technologies scale faster than institutions adapt. This gap between capability and governance is where instability emerges. The printing press outran institutions. Conflict followed before equilibrium. We should expect similar lag effects now, but at greater speed. Markets, supply chains, climate systems, even democratic deliberation itself are being rewired in real time. The feedback loops are tightening. 3 frameworks clarify the dynamic. From Jung, whose black books we unpacked in our first video, we learned that we project inner structures outward. Amplification reinforces those projections. McLuhan taught that technology extends the mind, but amplification reshapes the environment in which behavior occurs. Turing showed that if cognition can be reproduced, it can be scaled, and what scales can be deployed. Amplification does not remain external. Outputs re-enter the system. They shape beliefs, decisions, future outputs. The system becomes recursive. What begins as assistance becomes participation. Over time, amplification reshapes the conditions of its own operation. The consequences are both internal and external. Cognition becomes partially external. Authority becomes unstable. Power becomes unevenly distributed. Jung's own descent taught us that the psyche is not a passive container, but an active partner. In April 2026, that partner now has silicon co-pilots. The same active imagination Jung practiced, dialogue with Philemon, confrontation with the shadow, integration of opposites, is being supercharged. The question is no longer what does AI reflect, but what does it amplify? And beyond that, what happens when amplification itself becomes industrialized? As we navigate this uncharted territory, remember the lesson from our first video. Jung's crisis became the fertile ground for exponential breakthroughs precisely because he refused to look away. The same courage is required now, not of a single Swiss psychiatrist, but of entire societies. The exponential era is not coming. It is here. In April 2026, we are already living inside the amplifier. The printing press once fractured Europe and birthed the modern world. The AI amplifier is doing the same, only faster, deeper, and on a planetary scale. The question for our generation is whether we will master the tool or let the tool master the story. As we navigate this uncharted territory, remember that we have just entered a new exponential age, a period where nearly all human knowledge will be reinterpreted through the lens of our advancing technology and evolving consciousness. Jung's descent was the first high-stakes mapping of this internal frontier, and the AI amplifier is the next. Stay tuned as we continue to decode these systems with upcoming videos dedicated to the mechanics of active imagination and a deep system analysis of the Red Book. We want to hear from you. Which part of this architectural breakdown resonated with your own experience of the amplifier? Let us know in the comments. The journey into the deep psyche, now accelerated and amplified, is the ultimate frontier of the exponential era. Stay tuned.